Let me tell you something they never warn you about getting older. The people who can actually break your heart aren't strangers. They're the ones who learn to walk holding your finger, the ones who called you dad. They're the ones who can take your whole world and hand it back to you in pieces, without even raising their voice. And this is my story, stay with me. This is Dad's true emotions. I can tell you the exact second my life got cut clean in half. December 24th, 2016, about 5:47 p.m. I know because I looked at the clock on the microwave right after I hung up the phone. Before that second, I had one life. After that second, I had another, and those two lives don't talk to each other. I was standing in my kitchen, work boots still on, salt from the plant parking lot crusted on the laces, phone in my hand like it might bite me. I had just called Savannah, my daughter, my only kid, to ask what time I should come over for Christmas dinner. It was our thing. Had been since Rebecca, her mom, my wife, passed 11 years before that. Turkey. Box mashed potatoes because neither of us ever learned to make them right. That awful fruitcake Aunt Martha sent every year that we'd pretend to like and toss on the 26th. Bad holiday movies. She'd burn the rolls. I'd call them blackened and eat two just to make her laugh. Hours. Every year. No matter what. She picked up on the third ring, and I knew, fathers know. Her voice had that tight sound, practiced, like she'd rehearsed the sentence in the bathroom mirror and still didn't believe it. "Hey, sweetheart," I said, trying to keep my voice normal. "Just checking on tomorrow. What time you want me over? You need me to bring anything?" I was thinking I could grab that pecan pie from Henderson's, the one you used to sneak before dinner when you thought I wasn't looking. Silence, not the good kind. Not the kind where two people are just breathing together. The other kind, heavy. Then she said it. "Dad, Michael doesn't think it's a good idea this year." I laughed out loud, right there in my kitchen, because my brain couldn't make it make sense. It processed as a joke. "Michael doesn't think Christmas is a good idea," I said. "I know you two didn't exactly click at Thanksgiving. He was quiet. You were careful, but he needs space. In his own home." His own home. The house I helped them buy. The one I put 12 grand down on because he was between jobs and Savannah was in love and she wanted a yard, a dog, a life. But I kept my voice level. 26 years of being a dad teaches you how to keep your voice level when your chest is doing something else entirely. "Savannah," I said, "I'm not coming to visit Michael, I'm coming to see my daughter on Christmas." More quiet. Then so small I almost missed it, like she was 10 again, whispering after lights out, "Dad, please, don't make this harder than it already is." That's when I understood. She wasn't asking me to stay away. She wasn't torn up about it. She was delivering a message. And I swear on Rebecca's grave, I heard footsteps in the background. Slow. Measured. The kind of steps a man takes when he's standing just out of sight, making sure his instructions get followed to the letter. I said, "Okay, Savannah." Just that, okay, because what do you say? What words do they give a father for the moment his daughter chooses her husband over him on Christmas? There's no script, no handbook, so you say okay. I hung up, stood there, don't know how long, 4 minutes, maybe 7, didn't move. The kitchen smelled like coffee I'd made at 6 a.m. and forgot to drink. I looked around at the house, our house. The one Rebecca and I bought when Savannah was 3 and missing a front tooth and thought she was a pirate. The hallway doorframe still had pencil marks. SAVANNAH, age 4, age 6, age 9, age 12 when she rolled her eyes and said, "Dad, stop, I'm not a baby." And I thought, I am not spending Christmas staring at these walls. I am not sitting here with the ghosts of every Christmas we ever had, letting them eat me alive. I went upstairs, changed, clean shirt, blue coat because it was 29 degrees and getting colder, got in my truck, drove, didn't decide where, just drove. Ended up at Harold's Diner, 2 miles from home. Harold's is the kind of place that hasn't changed the menu since 1997. Laminated, pictures of the food. Coffee mugs older than some of the waitresses. Paper placemats with ads for the tire shop and the bail bondsman. Smells like gravy and bleach and hope. The waitress calls you hun whether you're 8 or 80. Christmas Eve, half empty. Nat King Cole playing low through speakers that buzzed a little. I sat in a booth for 2. The universe has a sense of humor, I guess. Ordered the pot roast. Coffee black. I was fine, I want you to know that. I was a 61-year-old man retired from the plant after 38 years, eating pot roast alone on Christmas Eve. Composed, dignified, totally fine. Linda, her name tag said Linda, brings over a basket of rolls, sets it down. Just you tonight, hun. Just me, I said. And she gave me the look. You know it, pity mixed with kindness. Good people can't help it, it's reflex like blinking. I almost asked for the check right then. Box it up, I almost said. I'll go home, stare at the walls after all. But then I heard her. From across the diner, a woman's voice, not loud like rude, loud like alive, loud like it took up space and didn't apologize for it. Sir, hey sir in the blue coat. I looked up, mid-40s, maybe 48. Natural hair pulled back, gray coming in at the temples, and she didn't bother hiding it. Eyes bright even under those fluorescent diner lights. Smile that was wide and real and took up her whole face, crinkles and all. At her table, 3 kids. Oldest boy, 18-19, hoodie, phone, existing in that teenage dimension where the rest of us are background characters. Middle girl, 15-16, arms crossed. Face like Christmas had personally insulted her family and she was planning legal action. Little boy, 8, maybe 9, wearing a paper crown from a Christmas cracker, tilted sideways on his head, sitting up straight like he was actual royalty and we were all just visiting his kingdom. You eating alone, she says. I glanced behind me, habit then back at her. Yes, ma'am. Well, that's ridiculous, she says. Get over here. We've got enough food to feed a small country. And Marcus over here eats like a bird when he's on that phone, so we need reinforcements. Marcus, the teenager, doesn't look up. I eat fine, Ma. The girl, I'd learned her name was Ava, cuts her eyes at her mom. Mom, you cannot just conscript strangers into our dinner like it's the draft. Sandy, I'd learned her name was Sandy Pierce, already had a chair pulled out. I just did, baby, scoot your bag. And I don't know why I stood up. I've asked myself that 1,000 times in 7 years. I don't have a clean answer. Maybe I was tired of the sound of my own fork on a plate. Maybe I was tired of being composed. Maybe something in me recognized something in her, that particular kind of stubborn warmth. The kind that looks at a cold world and says, not today, not on my watch. I picked up my coffee, walked over, sat down. Caleb Harmon, I said. Sandy Pierce, she said, and you look too sad to eat alone on Christmas. No offense. Some taken, I said, and she threw her head back and laughed. The little boy with the paper crown leans across the table, dead serious, like he's about to discuss foreign policy. You know any good jokes? A few, I said. Are they actually funny, he says, or dad funny? What's the difference, I asked. Ava doesn't look up from her water glass. Dad jokes make you groan, funny jokes make you laugh. There are studies, I read them. Fair enough, I said. Give me a minute to calibrate. And just like that, I wasn't a man alone on Christmas Eve anymore. I was at a table, a loud table. A table with a teenage boy who communicated in grunts, a future Supreme Court justice who cross-examined me about comedy, a king with a paper crown who took his reign very seriously, and a woman who decided I was part of Christmas before I'd even agreed to sit down. By the time Linda brought apple pie on the house, Merry Christmas, hun, I knew things. Sandy's husband walked out 14 months ago, Tuesday, left a note on the counter. I can't do this. Took his clothes, left half the rent and 3 kids. Marcus was working at Jiffy Lube, hands always stained with oil, trying to save for community college. Wants to do auto tech, maybe engineering if he can swing it. Ava was in 10th grade, mock trial team. Wants to be a lawyer and already argues like she's billing hours. Tyler, the king, was in 3rd grade, missing both front teeth. Considered it a personal injustice. had written a formal letter to the Tooth Fairy citing emotional damages and requesting additional compensation. Sandy knew I had a daughter, knew I wasn't seeing her that Christmas. She didn't do the head tilt thing, didn't say, "Oh, you poor man," didn't pry, just nodded. Like she understood that some wounds are too new to touch, so you just sit with the person bleeding instead. Check comes, I reach for it. "Don't you dare," Sandy says. "You fed a stranger on Christmas," I said. "Let me." "The least you can do," she says, "is come next Saturday. I make gumbo first Saturday of every month. Tradition. Has been since the divorce. Tyler already likes you and Tyler has standards. He doesn't like anybody, that's high praise." Tyler, mouthful of pie, nods solemnly. Royal confirmation. I looked at them. This table of people who owed me nothing. No blood, no history, no obligation. No reason to care if I ate alone for the next 20 Christmases. I said, "I'll bring dessert." I didn't know that first Saturday would turn into 7 years. I didn't know that these 4 people would become the truest family I'd have after the one I was born into, and the one I built with Rebecca. I sure as hell didn't know that 7 years later, my phone would ring on a Tuesday in February, and everything I thought I'd lost would come back to me broken and bruised and bleeding, and I'd finally understand what Michael Frost had been doing to my daughter since that Christmas Eve. Let me tell you about 7 years. 7 years is long enough to forget what your echo sounds like in an empty house, long enough to stop bracing when October ends and the stores put up Christmas trees, long enough to build something so solid, so real, that you almost stop counting the days since you heard your daughter's laugh for real. Not the practiced one she used on the phone. The real one. The one that started in her belly when she was 5. But 7 years is not long enough to hide who a man really is. Not forever. And Michael Frost was about to learn that the hard way. It didn't happen fast with Sandy's family. Real things don't. Real things are slow. Real things are showing up. That first Saturday, I showed up with a pecan pie from Henderson's, same one I used to bring Savannah, walked up to Sandy's house, little blue house with shutters that were chipped and a porch that sagged to the left like it was tired. Wind chimes made of spoons hanging by the door. Sandy opens the door, sees the box, looks at me. "You've been here 11 seconds and you're already my favorite person. Get in here before I change my mind about you." Tyler took the box out of my hands before I was even through the doorway. "Tyler," Ava said, "that is not yours. That is for everyone. We discussed communal property." Then to me, very formal handout. "Nice to see you again, Mr. Harmon. Welcome to our home." Marcus was under the kitchen sink. Water everywhere, towels on the floor. "Pipe busted," he said, didn't look up. I set my keys down, rolled up my sleeves. "Need a hand." He finally looked. "You know plumbing." "Raised a daughter alone for 11 years after my wife passed," I said, getting on the linoleum next to him. "I've done plumbing, drywall, electrical. Once performed emergency reconstructive surgery on a Barbie dream house at 2:13 a.m. on Christmas morning with a hot glue gun and a prayer. I'm basically a general contractor." Marcus laughed, short, surprised, real, first time I'd heard it. It sounded like progress, sounded like a door opening. Sandy leaned in the doorway, arms crossed, watching us. "You do plumbing, Caleb." "Like I said," I told her, "widowed with a kid, you learn." We fixed the pipe. Took an hour. Got soaked. Tyler supervised from a chair, paper crown still on, telling us we were doing it wrong based on a YouTube video he watched. That was the first Saturday. Then there was the second. I brought brownies. Tyler approved. Then the third. I didn't bring anything, just showed up. Sandy looked at me. "Took you long enough to realize you don't need a ticket to come to dinner." Then Tyler's little league games. I was the guy in the stands. Fold-out chair, cooler with water bottles. Yelled "good eye, Ty" when he walked. Yelled "run it out" when he hit a grounder. He was terrible, loved it anyway. After games we'd get ice cream. He'd get chocolate, always. "Champions eat chocolate," he'd say. He batted .102. Then Marcus's ASE study sessions. Kitchen table, grease still under his nails from Jiffy Lube. Flashcard Sandy made with a Sharpie. "What's the firing order for a Chevy 350? I asked. He'd groan. 1843652. Again. Again, I'd say. Then Ava's mock trial competitions. Sandy and I in the back of the school auditorium, holding hands because we didn't know what else to do with them. Tyler next to us drawing a picture of the judge. In his version, the judge's gavel was on fire and he was yelling objection. Ava would get up there, 15 years old, and take apart some 17-year-old from the prep school like she was dismantling a clock. When she won state in 10th grade, she ran to us after. Not cool, not lawyer. Just a kid, hugged Sandy, hugged me. Did you see what I did to him?" "I saw," I said. "You were terrifying. I'm proud and also slightly afraid of you." "Good," she said. "That's the goal." Then birthdays, Tyler's 9th, 10th, 11th, Marcus's 20th, 21st, Ava's 16th, Sandy's 45th, where Marcus and I tried to bake a cake and set off the smoke alarm and ended up buying one from Kroger and pretending we made it. Then Thanksgiving, Sandy made gumbo. "Tradition is what you make it," she said. "Turkey's overrated. Gumbo is love in a bowl." Then Christmas, every Christmas, 5 stockings on Sandy's mantle, red felt, white fluffy tops, SANDYMARCUSAVATYLER and CALEB. Mine had little cars on it because Tyler picked it out. And through all of it, all 7 years of gumbo and little league and flashcards and gavels and stockings, I never stopped thinking about Savannah. Not one day, not 1 hour. I called every month, first Sunday, like clockwork. Sometimes she answered. Most times she didn't. When she did, it was short. It was careful, like she was reading from a script Michael wrote. "I'm fine, Dad. Michael's good. Work's busy. We're busy. I'll try to call more." She never did. I sent cards, birthday, July 14th, Christmas, Easter, Mother's Day, even though she wasn't a mom because Rebecca and I always did that. "Happy Mother's Day to the woman who made me a dad," I'd write. I never knew if she got them. After year 3, I started sending them to her work address because I wasn't sure they were making it past the front door at home. Year 4, grocery store, Kroger, cereal aisle, holding a box of oatmeal because I'm 65 now and my doctor says fiber, Caleb, fiber. Mr. Harmon. I turn, Patris, Savannah's college roommate, maid of honor at her wedding, the one who used to call me Pops and come over to study but really just eat all my pizza. She hugs me, hard, like I'm the last solid thing on earth, pulls back, eyes are wet. "Mr. Harmon, how's Savannah? I can't reach her. I've called, texted, emailed her work, DM'd her. She just went quiet, like 2 years ago. Did I do something? Did I say something at the wedding? I've been going crazy." I stood there, oatmeal in my hand, 47 years old when she was born, and I still didn't have words. "You're not the first person to tell me that," I said. Her face changes. It's this look, worried recognition, like she's putting puzzle pieces together and the picture is ugly. "Mr. Harmon, is she okay? Is she safe with him?" I didn't have an answer. I gave her my number. "Keep trying," I said. "Please keep trying." Drove home with my chest full of concrete. Could barely breathe. That night, Sandy's porch, me and her, like always, kids inside, music loud, Tyler yelling about Fortnite or whatever, her with tea, chamomile, me with coffee, decaf because it's 9 p.m. and I'm old, crickets, wind chimes made of spoons. I told her everything, Patris, the cards, the phone calls that felt like I was talking to someone in a hostage video, the feeling I couldn't shake for 4 years, the feeling that sat in my gut every morning when I woke up and whispered, "Something is wrong," before my feet hit the floor. Sandy listened, all of it, didn't interrupt, didn't say "I'm sorry," didn't do the head tilt. That's Sandy. When it's real, when it's bleeding, she gets quiet. She absorbs it, like she's taking it into her own body so you don't have to carry it alone. Then she said, "Caleb, I'm gonna ask you something. I need you to think before you answer. Not react, not defend, think." "Okay," I said. "In all the years since Michael told her to cut you off," she said, voice low, "has Savannah ever once called you first, without you calling her, without a birthday making her, without Christmas making her, just because she missed you, because she had a bad day, because she had a good day, just because?" I opened my mouth, closed it. I sat there, porch swing moving a little, creaking, crickets, spoons clinking, 30 seconds, maybe 45. "No," I said. The word tasted like ash. Sandy nodded, slow, set her tea down on the porch railing, looked out at the yard. "That's not a daughter who stopped loving her father, Caleb. That's a woman who's been told who she's allowed to love, who she's allowed to talk to, who she's allowed to be. That's not love, that's a cage." I heard her. God, I heard her. I didn't want to. Every part of me wanted to argue, to say you don't know Michael, or maybe she's just busy, or marriage is hard. But I heard her. Year 5. Marcus gets his ASE certification, passed the test. We threw a party, Sandy's house, streamers from Dollar Tree, sheet cake from Kroger, blue icing. "Congrats, Marcus." Tyler made a card, construction paper, green marker. "Congrats, Mark, you're the best mechanic in the world probably." The spelling was a felony. The heart was everything. At some point, Marcus pulls me into the kitchen. He's 24 now, taller than me by 2 inches, and he makes sure I know it. Stands there, hands in his pockets, jeans, t-shirt, certified auto technician. "Wanna say something?" he says. "Don't want it to be weird." "Say it before I decide it's weird," I told him. He looks down at his shoes, then at me. "You didn't have to stay, you know, after that first Christmas. You could have been one dinner, one story we tell at Thanksgiving. Remember that guy Mom invited? He was nice. But you stayed, you showed up every game, every test, every time Tyler had a nightmare and came to your room instead of Mom's because you snore less. You matter to us, to me. You matter, Caleb." I looked at him. Same kid who was under a sink the first day I met him. Grease under his nails then. Grease under his nails now. But now it was professional grease. "Marcus," I said, "showing up for you all is the easiest thing I've done since your mom dragged me to that table. Easiest and best." He nodded. Then he did something he hadn't done since he was probably 12. He hugged me. Not a side hug, not a bro hug with the back pat, a real one. Both arms tight, face in my shoulder for half a second, like he meant it, like he'd been waiting to do it. Ava walks in, sees us, freezes. "Y'all crying in the kitchen?" "No," Marcus says, voice thick, not letting go yet. "You're both terrible liars," she says, "and I'm gonna pretend I didn't see this because it's embarrassing for everyone involved." And she walks out. I was crying, little bit. "Don't you tell them I told you." Year 6. Ava wins state in mock trial, again. This time she's a junior, stands in that courtroom in the county courthouse, real courtroom, real judge volunteering, and takes apart a senior from the fancy prep school across town. That kid's dad is a real lawyer, had a suit that cost more than my truck. Didn't matter. Ava got up there with her thrift store blazer Sandy tailored and eviscerated him, respectfully, with citations. Sandy and I in the back row, holding hands so tight my knuckles were white. Tyler next to us, drawing. In his version, the judge's gavel was on fire, the other kid was crying, and Ava had wings. When it was over, when the judge said petitioner wins, Ava ran, not walked. Ran straight to us. Not cool, not lawyer. Just a 16-year-old girl who did a thing. Hugged Sandy, hugged me, lifted off her feet. "Did you see?" she's saying into my shirt. "Did you see what I did to him? Did you see his face?" "I saw," I said, laughing, crying. "You were terrifying. I'm proud of you, and also I'm making a note to never get on your bad side." "Good," she said, pulling back, grinning. "That's the goal, fear and respect." "Love too," Sandy said. "Yeah," Ava said, rolling her eyes. "That too, obviously." Year 7, February, Tuesday, 4:13 p.m. I'm at Sandy, kitchen table, Newspaper everywhere. Elmer's glue on my fingers, baking soda. Red food coloring. Tyler's science project. Volcano. Because apparently it's federal law. Every child in America must make a baking soda volcano between the ages of 8 and 11 or the government comes for you. Tyler is explaining, very seriously, how his volcano is going to be the most explosive in the history of Mrs. Patterson's class, because he's adding extra vinegar and maybe Mentos, which is not in the instructions but rules are for people without vision, Mr. Caleb. I'm saying, Tyler, if you put Mentos in there, we're gonna have to repaint the kitchen when my phone rings. Unknown number, I almost don't answer. Who answers unknown numbers in 2024? It's all spam. Your car warranty or IRS. But something, a feeling, I pick up. Hello. Is this Caleb Harmon? Woman's voice. Clinical, careful. The kind of voice that delivers news for a living. The kind that has to say I'm sorry a lot. It is, I said. Mr. Harmon, this is Dr. Carol Reeves at Mercy General Hospital. You're listed as emergency contact for Savannah Frost. She was in a serious car accident today. She's out of surgery. She's in critical condition. The volcano kit hits the floor. Baking soda poof. White cloud. Tyler stops talking mid-sentence about maximum eruption velocity. What happened? My voice didn't sound like mine. It sounded like someone else, someone older. Rear impact at moderate speed, Dr. Reeves said. Vehicle pushed into a guardrail on Route 27. Mr. Harmon, we've been trying to reach her husband, Michael Frost, for 4 hours. We haven't been able to locate him. Can you come to the hospital? The concrete that had been in my chest for 7 years, it flooded, all of it, every grain, couldn't breathe. I'm on my way, I said. Sandy was already standing. She didn't ask what, she didn't ask who, she just was, standing, keys in her hand. Get your coat, she said. Ava was down the stairs in 3 seconds, school backpack still on. We're going with him. Not a question, statement of fact. Marcus comes from the hallway. He was home early, oil on his hands. Wiping them on a rag, sees my face. Keys are in his hand before I can say anything, coat on. I'm driving. Tyler looks at all of us, eyes big. Paper crown from 3 Christmases ago still on his dresser, but he's not wearing it. He's 15 now, voice cracking. Is somebody hurt? Sandy kneels, gets eye level with him, puts both hands on his shoulders. Caleb's daughter needs him right now. She needs us. Your sister needs us. Tyler looks at me. That serious look he gets, the one that makes him seem 40 instead of 15. The one he had when he was 8 and asked if I knew good jokes. Then we gotta go, right? I couldn't speak, throat closed up, just nodded. 5 of us, me, Sandy, Marcus driving his beat-up Civic like it was a NASCAR. Ava in the backseat, phone already out, Googling patient rights next of kin. Tyler next to her, holding his paper volcano in his lap like it was a shield, like he could protect her with it. Me in the passenger seat, Sandy's hand on my arm, not letting go. Me and the family that chose me, driving through a cold February night, 6:18 p.m., dark already, toward a daughter who didn't even know we existed like this, who didn't know she had a 15-year-old brother in a paper crown, a 24-year-old brother who would take a bullet for her and not know her name, a 17-year-old sister who would cross-examine God, a stepmother who chose her without ever meeting her. Sandy's driving, hand still on my arm, squeezes, doesn't let go. Whatever we find when we get there, she says, eyes on the road, windshield wipers going, you're not facing it alone. You hear me, Caleb Harmon, not alone, not ever again. I heard her. But nothing. Not 7 years of gumbo and Little League and flashcards and gavels and I love yous on Sandy's porch. Not Sandy's hand on my arm. Not Marcus doing 70 in a 55. Not Ava in the backseat saying, Dad, you have rights, okay? I'm looking them up. Not Tyler whispering, she's gonna be okay, right, Mr. Caleb? She has to be. Nothing could have prepared me for what we were about to walk into at Mercy General Hospital. Nothing could have prepared me for what we were about to learn about Michael Frost, and why my daughter's accident might not have been an accident at all. Let me tell you about hospitals at night. They have a silence that isn't silence. It's the sound of people holding their breath in different rooms, nurses in sneakers that don't squeak because they learned, machines beeping in different rooms, different rhythms like a song nobody wants to be listening to, elevators dinging soft, phones ringing at nurse stations, and always down some hallway, some family is getting the worst news of their life. You can feel it. It's in the air. It's in the walls. It's in the way the nurses look at you when you walk in. That night, 7:02 p.m., I walked into Mercy General not knowing if I was about to be that family. Dr. Reeves met us on the 3rd floor, nurse's station. Scrub pants gray, top blue, badge, Carol Reves MD trauma, mid-50s, hair pulled back, no makeup, tired eyes, the kind of tired that doesn't come from one bad night shift but from years of them, years of telling people we did everything we could. But her eyes weren't cold, not yet. Some doctors, you can see it, they've gone cold to survive, they have to. She hadn't, not yet. She sees me, sees Sandy behind me. Marcus, Ava, Tyler fanned out like a little army. She recalibrates. You can see it on her face. Family. Their family, I said, before she could ask, before she could say only immediate family. She nodded, didn't question it, didn't ask for ID, didn't say, "Are you blood?" "Mr. Harmon," she said, "your daughter is stable, the surgery went well. She has a fractured collarbone, left side, 3 broken ribs, same side, significant concussion. Grade 3. She's going to need time, she's going to need rehab, physical therapy, but she's going to recover. She's strong. Her vitals are good, she's young, she's strong." I exhaled. Didn't realize I'd been holding it since 4:13 p.m. My knees buckled, just a little. Sandy's hand on my back holding me up. "Can we speak privately for a moment?" Dr. Reeves asked. I nodded, followed her to a little consult room. You know the kind, every hospital has them. Chairs that are too soft, like they want you to sink in and stay a while, like they want to swallow you. Walls bare except for some generic print of a sailboat or a beach. Something calming. Box of tissues on the table. Nobody ever wants to need that box, but it's there. She closed the door, quiet click, sat across from me at the little round table, folded her hands, looked at me straight, eye to eye. "Mr. Harmon," she said, "I want to be straightforward with you. I think you deserve that. I think she would want me to be straight with you." "Please," I said, my voice was sandpaper, "please just tell me." "When your daughter was brought in by EMS," she said, "the paramedics noted the accident, rear impact at moderate speed. Vehicle pushed into a guardrail on Route 27, mile marker 12. That's what's on the surface report. That's what the police have. That's what happened today. But during her examination, during surgery, our attending trauma physician, Dr. Patel, noted several things that were inconsistent with this being her first significant trauma." I stared at her. "Meaning what? Say it plain, doctor. Don't doctor talk me. Say it plain." "Meaning," she said, and she didn't flinch, "there were healed fractures, old ones. A distal radius fracture on her left wrist that was broken before, never set properly. It healed wrong. She'd have limited range of motion. Pain in cold weather, arthritis early, scarring along her left shoulder, her back, her ribs, consistent with repeated impact over time, consistent with being hit, consistent with a pattern." The room got small. The sailboat on the wall went blurry. My ears rang. "Mr. Harmon," she said, "we are required by law to file a report when we see a pattern like this. Suspected domestic violence. We've already contacted the county sheriff's office. Detective Warren is handling it. He's been here twice tonight." I couldn't breathe. "How long?" I asked. "How long has this been? How long?" "Based on the bone density around the older fractures," she said, "the layering of the scar tissue, the calcification, the way the wrist healed, we're looking at injuries spanning several years. 5, maybe 6, maybe more. The wrist is at least 4 years old. 5 years, maybe more." I did the math. The math I didn't want to do, the math I'd been avoiding for 7 years, and it kept landing on one name, one face, the one who told her not to come to Christmas, the one whose footsteps I heard on the phone, Michael Frost. "Where is he?" I asked. "Her husband, where is Michael?" Dr. Reeves opened a folder she'd brought in. Manila had Savannah's name on the tab. "Detective Warren from the county sheriff's office has been here twice tonight. He'd like to speak with you. Michael Frost was also in an accident this evening. Different location. Route 9, different circumstances. He's currently in police custody. He was arrested at the scene. I don't have details beyond that. Detective Warren will. He's waiting." Stay with me. I know what you're thinking. I know your chest hurts reading this. Mine did. Mine does. Yes, it gets heavier. I'm not gonna lie to you, but I promise you it gets lighter. You have to go through the heavy to get to the light. That's how it works. That's how it's always worked. Detective Warren was tall, unhurried, the kind of man who doesn't waste movement, doesn't fidget, hair gray at the temples, cut short, suit that looked like he'd been wearing it for 14 hours straight, white shirt, top button open, tie loosened, face that didn't give anything away for free, eyes that had seen everything and were still looking. He shook my hand in the hallway outside Savannah's room. 314. I'll never forget that number. Grip firm, dry, eyes steady. "Mr. Harmon," he said,